Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiyayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayan the Rishi, the supermost human being, unto other subspiritual goddess of Brahma, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the all-powerful. Ashtaprayeshu Abhideshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of God, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana-Tamadasya Jnana-Jnana-Shalakaya Chakshur-Vilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Ramachandra ki jai. Thank you, Parvati Sindhu, for giving the japa back together. Hare Krishna, this is a glorious day, everyone, and we're going to concentrate a little bit on the pastimes of Ramachandra, just since it's his day, and we're going to look at the 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And as you all know, the Bhagavatam has a list of avatars, and it's in the first canto. There's at least over 20 avatars that are mentioned. Of course, one of them is Ramachandra, and then the synopsis of his life is contained in this 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right. And so we have considered to use this verse here to speak from. This morning we heard from Bhagavad, and he was quoting from the text 20 about the Simeon army, the monkeys, Angada, and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramachandra faced the elephants and the horses and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, and arrows. Thus the soldiers of Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana's soldiers, who had lost all good fortune because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. So 2 verses before that, or after that. You got it? Ramas tam aha purushada purisha yan na kanta samaskam kanta samaksam asatha pravita swavat te chaktva prapasya halam adya jugupsitasya yaschami kala iva kartur alangya Ramastam aha purushada purishiyanna Kanta samaksam asatha prita swavate Jattu prapasya Halam adya jugupsitasya Yaschami kala iva karatur alanyaviryaha
Ramastam aha purushada purisayannaha
We're just back.
Kanta samaksam asata pahatas swavate
Yachami kala iva karturalangya virya.
Yaschami kala iva karturalangya virya.
Ramastam Mahapurusha Purishayanna.
Ramastam Mahapurusha Purishayanna.
Kanta samaksham asata prahata svavate.
Kanta samaksham asata prahata svavate.
Tyakta trapasya phalam adya jugupsitasya.
Tyakta tapasya phalam adya jugupsitasya.
Yaschami kala iva karturalangya virya.
Yachami kala iva karturalangya virya.
Ramaha, Lord Ramachandra, Tam, unto him, Ravana, okay, unto him Ravana, Aha, said, Purusha Ada Purisha, you are the stool of the man-eaters,
You are the stool of man-eaters.
Rakshasas.
Rakshasas.
Yet,
Because
Naha,
my
Kanta,
life
Asamaksham,
asamaksham
helpless because of my absence.
helpless because of my absence.
Asata,
Asata,
by you the most sinful.
by you the most sinful.
Avaharita,
Aparita
was kidnapped.
was kidnapped.
Shwavat,
Shwavat,
like a dog
like a dog
who takes food
who takes food
from the kitchen
from the kitchen
in the absence
In the
of
absence
the proprietor.
of the proprietor.
Te, of you,
of you.
Chikta Trapasya,
Tyakta tapasya
because you are shameless.
Because you are shameless.
Alam Adya,
Phalamada,
I shall give you the result today.
I
I
shall
shall give you the result today.
Jugutsitasya,
Jugutsitasya,
of you the most abominable.
of you the most abominable.
Yaschami,
Yaschami,
I shall punish you.
I shall punish you.
Kala Iva,
Kala iva,
like death.
like death.
Kartuhu,
Kartuhu,
O you who are the performer of all sinful activities.
of you who are performer of all sinful
activities.
Alam Yavirya,
Alam Yavira,
but I, being omnipotent,
I, being omnipotent,
never fail in my attempt.
never fail in my attempt.
Translation, Lord Ramachandra was, like this. What we say. Lord Ramachandra said to Ravana,
You said to Ravana.
you are the most abominable of the man-eaters.
You
You are the most abominable of man-eaters.
Indeed, you are like their stool.
Indeed, you are like their stool.
You resemble a dog.
You resemble a dog.
Whereas a dog steals eatables from the kitchen
For as a dog steals eatables from the kitchen,
in the absence of the householder,
in the absence of the householder,
in my absence you kidnap my wife Sita Devi.
in my absence you kidnap my wife Sita Devi.
Therefore, as Yamaraj punishes sinful men,
Therefore, as Yamraj punishes sinful
I
men,
shall also punish you.
I shall also punish you.
You are most abominable,
You
You are most abominable,
sinful,
sinful,
and shameless.
and shameless.
Today, therefore,
Today, therefore, I,
whose attempt never fails,
whose attempt never fails,
shall punish you.
shall punish you.
Your word was divine grace, AC Bhaktimarga Swami Prabhupada. Jai. Na cha dvaivat param balam. No one can surpass the strength of the transcendence. Ravana was so sinful and shameless that he did not know what the result would be of kidnapping Mother
Sita.
The pleasure potency of Ramachandra. This is the disqualification of the Rakshasas. Asatyam apratishtam te jagat ahura anishwaram. The Rakshasas are unaware that the Supreme Lord is the ruler of the creation. They
think
that every
being
thing has come about by chance or accident, and that there is no ruler
king
or controller. Therefore, the Rakshasas act independently as they like, going even so far as to kid
Navami,
the goddess of fortune. This policy of Ravana's is extremely dangerous for the materialist. Indeed, it brings ruin to the materialistic civilization. Nonetheless, because atheists are,
Demons.
this is
Rakshas?
where music came from, Rakshasas. They dare to think, they dare to do things that are most
demoniac,
abominable, the abominable sin. Okay. And thus they are
punished,
without fail. Religion consists of the orders of the Supreme Lord, and one who carries out these orders is religious. One who fails to carry
out,
the Lord's
order,
orders is irreligious, and he is to be
punished,
punished.
repeated.
Okay. More than once for sure. Namo Shivaya. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Shri 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 I am fasting, but not for water. It was a chair for you. Thank you very much, Sri Ramachandra Ki.
Jai.
Okay, Ramachandra speaks quite harshly to Ravana. He uses certain terms that, in today's language, they would say S-H-I-T. That's what you are. And if someone says that about you, you'll be pretty insulted. Of course, cow and bull, S-H-I-T, not a problem. But when it comes to regular S-H-I-T, it is a problem. All right. So Ramachandra is angry. His anger is invoked. And we discussed the other day that anger is justified, under the right causes. Such as the examples are given. Krishna was angry with Arjuna in the beginning of the Gita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was angry with Madai and Jagai, and because they had injured Nityananda. Not you. And then we also have Hanuman. He was angry because of what Ravana had done. He was angry towards Ravana. And we all feel that. This is an example of, being very, very shameless. If you're going to try to steal someone, steal someone's wife or partner, then do it in front of them. See how it goes. But in the absence of Ram and Lakshman, Sita was taken. As you know, Ravana came in disguise, which is also below the belt. And he disguised himself as a sadhu. Indra did the same kind of thing during a yajna sacrifice, during Pritu's time. He feigned being a sadhu. He was like the person who started counterfeit saints by stealing the horse, which was meant for yajna, Ashwamedha yajna. Ramachandra did the same thing. Ravana did the same thing. He disguised himself as a sadhu, so people may not recognize him. And during that time, he thought he could get Sita. He comes to her, and she's not protected. Lakshman's not there, so I haven't eaten for days. He said, you could help me. That kind of thing. And of course, she felt obliged, being very much a part of the you know, Vedic culture, with their sort of etiquette and the reverences given to the sadhus. So she felt compelled to do that. You know? In the Valmiki Ramayana, who first composed it, there's not a mention of a fire of circle, the circle of fire, but we do hear about it later on from Tulsidas. You know, one time the devotees were putting on the play of the Ram Leela, and they didn't include the story of the circle of fire, the protective circle that was supposed to keep Sita intact. You know, they didn't include that in the story, and so some Indian devotees came forward and said, "Oh, it is very, very important that you include that." And so the devotees were bewildered. We didn't read about it. We don't know about it. And yet these people are saying it's very, very, very important that it's done, that you include that circle of protection, you know, initiated by Lakshman. So Prabhupada said, it is okay, you know. So he agreed, let the devotees, satisfy the people, put the circle, the protective circle in there, and it's okay. All right, but you know what's really important about the Leelas? It's not always the little details, it's the rasa that you have to establish. The mood has to be right. That's what's important. You know, those who write or compose the pastimes of the Lord, you know, whether it be Lord Krishna or Rama or somebody like that, they have to hit the nail on the head, and then the head is the rasa. You have to establish the emotions, okay? So in terms of talking about emotions, Ram was really angry. We can imagine how Sita felt. She was really anxious. She was really worried. And because from her perspective, there's only one person in her life. And, you know, Ravana himself, he was definitely extremely passionate, lusty, and he wanted to have Sita. He had already had lots of wives, but that wasn't good enough for him. That goes to show how out of whack is this Ravana, the arch enemy of Ram. So you juxtapose, you have the perfection of purity, and then you have the perfection of imperfection. If that makes any sense. Because Ram charged Ravana for being shameless. And just like a dog might, you know, in the nighttime grab stuff. Here we have little thieves in our neighborhood, and they're called raccoons. And they're in the middle of the night all the time. And they'll get your food. It was some years ago, about 2 or 3 doors down the front yard, someone had broken into the garbage. Okay? It was set out there early the day before for the garbage digger apples to come and pick up the garbage. But there was a raccoon he was eating, and right next to him was a skunk. They were like this far apart from each other. It didn't matter if they're arch enemies or they don't like each other, or I'm going to grab the whole thing, you know, you can't take any part of it. They were just kind of sharing, and they were like buddies, just next to each other, and enjoying their form of prashadam, Hare Krishna. It was cute to see. I wish I had a cell phone at that time. It's precious, it really is. Okay, now, you know, stealing from a household, any kind of theft. Where do we find the message about stealing in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3? Does anybody know where there's mention of theft? Anybody? Okay, chapter 3, text 12. If you do not acknowledge at least the demigods for the bounties that they give you, the food. You know, like the moon contributes to the food, giving nourishment. The sun also gives nutrients. Indra also participates in it. Bhumi also participates, you know. having the fertility so that things can come up out of the ground, which they do so nice at this time of year. Okay, so we've got that shloka, right? There's certainly a thief, okay? Thieves, meaning, if you just take and you don't offer some gratitude, you don't offer grace, you don't say thank you, danke well, or danke, they say in German, but it's not that I got. Thank you. Then you are a thief. You have to acknowledge where it is coming from. At least that. But in our Krishna conscious culture, we say, why don't you offer to the chief, the head honcho, which is Krishna. Mayaiva vihitan yatan. That means that the demigods cannot operate separately from the Lord. So we offer to Krishna. But there's more to the system. We offer not just to Krishna directly, we offer to the Guru. Actually, we offer to the disciplic succession. At noontime, devotees sing, Vasha Bhakta Sarva you know the song. So there it is being said that everything is being handed to Krishna through Radha, and for Radha, other devotees, the Vrajavasis. So that's the system. It's a hand-me-down or a hand-me-up, because you're handing it up through that chain, in ISKCON, when we offer an arati, we have two standards. One is you start with Krishna, with your article, and then you go down to the Guru. And in other places, you offer from the Guru and you go out. Durgam, what do we do here?
We offer to the Guru,
And we go up.
and Guru offers to his Guru, and then
And goes up the ladder, right? And so the ministry of deity worship has not laid down the laws, either this way or that way. You can do what you like, with the philosophy. Okay. Personally, I'm more comfortable with giving to the Guru, and then it gets handed upwards through an ascending process, right? And others choose to do a descending process. Both of them are valid, both of them are okay. Did you know that? If you go to some temples, they start with Krishna and then they go down. Other temples, they start with Guru and they go up. Right? So in that song, it's basically talking about going up. And Radharani ultimately gives to Krishna. I think I'm supposed to stay here, is that right? Makes a difference. I don't know what happens in the recording. I have a bad habit of going away from this because I get a little intimidated. So that's the system. And so a thief is somebody who makes no acknowledgement, just comes in the middle of the night and steals. Prabhupada talks about a man who's sneaking in a householder's home, and he's walking on the floor, and there's a little creaking noise, and the householders wake up, and the guy says, "I'm not stealing anything." So he's revealing what his intention is. I'm not stealing. So that's the thing. We're talking about the thief. So chapter 3. You can check it out, that's number 12 and also 13. Okay, so stena is a Sanskrit word for a thief, according to the Bhagavad Gita. But then there's another name for the person who does not thieve or steal, but somebody who actually gives but doesn't take away, but gives sometimes. That's the word. So it just so happened that yesterday the class we had with devotees from the East Coast, we talked about Santa. And everybody knows that Santa Claus is a big jolly guy who's very kind to people, and he comes down the chimney and all that stuff, all that stool, whatever, and in a way, stealing a story, Claus was Saint Nicholas, and he was very kind. He lived in Asia Minor, and he was an archbishop. And he had a reputation. He was very nice to children, especially poor kids who didn't have anything. And you know how in more traditional, maybe during the time that Santa Claus was created by, was it the Coca-Cola company? They reshaped him, they reincarnated Saint Nicholas. Painted him red, made him a little fat, red nose, probably drinks a bit. And and they came up with all kinds of notions to make it kind of the Christmas time kind of dreamy, with socks at the fireplace, and in the socks you'll find goodies, So the word Santa, and I explained to these devotees that in the early days, but we started doing it here in 1976 or 76, devotees dressed up like Santa, and they went to Yonge Street. And why did they go to Yonge Street? There's the Senator. To collect donations. We had cans like this guy. And people were giving quite generously because they liked Santa. Then the public didn't like it. We thought we were being a little deceptive. And we weren't representing our own tradition. We are misleading. And of course they're right. So we got into the newspaper, we got some pictures of the devotees in Santa Claus outfits. I never went, thank God. But, we were a little bit criticized for that. So we stopped being Santa. But we ended up being Santa. Right? Means givers, not takers. Yes. And so that's where we want to go. The devotees are released, of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food, which is offered first for sacrifice. See, we believe in this. Stina, they don't. They leave that out. They don't believe in sacrifice. Others who prepare food for a personal sense of enjoyment rarely eat only sin. That's a strong word. That refers to bad karma. So therefore, we're quite crazy about offering our food. Prabhupada did say a few things. When it came to fruit, it's not always necessary. But in general, devotees offer their food even when you're traveling. And you're picking up something from the convenience store, and you offer it. And you have a little picture, put it on the dashboard, or you carry a picture, or at least in your mind, everyone's got one of these. And you can present a picture of Prabhupada. Offer the food to him with love and devotion. Patram pushpam balam tuyam yo me bhakti prayachiti tadaham bhakti paritam ashnami prayatam. Yes. Prasad. Prasad means mercy. And devotees, the Santa, the devotees of the Lord, they offer as in the sacrifice. So we keep it simplified when you're on the road. When you are actually in a temple, it's a little bit more elaborate. Prabhupada was traveling on the train with the devotees in India, and it was time to eat something. So some bhoga was acquired before they got on the train. And then it was determined that, okay, now we will do an offering. So this one of the Mataji's made this big, elaborate arrangement, and Prabhupada was looking at it with tremendous curiosity. Please accept my, this is the time we usually give class, right? But if it's quick, you'll let me know. Okay. All right. Yeah, you can call it 8:30, so about 8:45 would work. Devotees want to say Haribol to you. Happy Ram Navami.
Haribol!
Happy Ram
Navami!
How's that? Hare Krishna. Okay, so where were we?
Offer to Srila Prabhupada in mobile phone.
In the train. And a real elaborate arrangement was made. And Prabhupada was looking at it. And basically he said, this is not necessary. Like, you don't have to go into such detail. Again, it's one of those moments where it's like, let's be practical. After all, you're in a train. If you set a little altar here, and then you can first stop, say you're stopping in Baroda, then everything falls apart. So you have to actually be a little bit practical. That's a big part of the mission. Just be practical. Don't be a fanatic. There's nothing worse than being a religious fanatic. Religious fanatics, they start wars. They're like, let's say, just not accommodated. They're very difficult people. So we have a tough time with fanatics. People who stick to the rules and regulations and don't understand what's behind these rules and regulations. There's a Sanskrit word for that. Does anybody remember? I don't know, do you remember? I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just asking, is it something different like that? Anyways, it's one of the offenses. It's one of the blockages to making spiritual advancement. When you follow sort of rules and regulations, you follow religious orders or religious duties without understanding the principle behind that. And what is the principle behind following regulations? So your heart will be softened. You will go for a purification. And so, like when a new person comes to the temple, it's my first day here, and I'd like to come again. I want to have a good experience. So we don't have to get into people's cases. Actually, if someone's here for the first time, you don't always have to give them a book, just follow this, follow. They can't, they came here for darshan. So let them have the darshan first, and on their own, they'll want to learn in time, right? You can suggest, but not on day one, come on. I just feel like slapping everybody who gets, that will be an offense. And then I'll go to hell, so don't do it, because then I'll get angry, and I will go to Bhaktimarga or something like that. I'll go to Navami. So, devotees move in this world with a soft heart. And again, they pick up on the spirit, the rasa, the mellow, the mood. That's the most important thing. Let's be santas, and let us not be stenas. Okay, those are two words you might want to grab. Lessons learned from chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so it's a good one. This is the key word. We're into sacrifice. We're into yajnas. And the topmost yajnas in this day and age are
Harinam.
Harinam, Harinam, Harinam.
Kalam Nasdeva.
Gatir Anyaka. Okay, that's Gati. Gati means the goal is the Harinam. And it says it 3 times. Kalam Nasdeva, Nasdeva, Nasdeva. Yes. 3 times Nasdeva. Just like we are Christians, there's no other way, no other way, no other way, but Jesus. Okay? But we actually have a problem with that. Jesus is a guru. Prabhupada said, we accept him as our guru. And anybody who teaches love of God, we accept as a guru. Anybody who teaches love in general is a guru. When you teach hate, you call it a religion. I don't know what kind of love that is, what kind of guru that is. So, for repetition purposes, When you want to emphasize something, you say it more than once, you say it twice, you say it thrice, whatever. Maybe you can say it millions of times, as in Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
It's the ultimate brainwash. It's the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. So we do yajnas. It's a very important part of our culture. We also do yoga. There's two words that start with Y that we're really big on. Okay? Yoga, meaning connecting with Krishna, through the mantra. And yajna, again, the topmost yajna or sacrifice in this day and age is chanting the names of the Lord. Chanting the names of the Lord and you'll be free. On one of the walks I did across Canada, I stopped at the Ojibwe campsite. Were you ever with me in Sault Ste. Marie? I don't think so. Maybe other parts. Sault Ste. Marie, they have an Ojibwe campsite. It's on the St. Mary's River near Sault Ste. Marie. And I went into the washroom to shower and all that stuff. And I was just going into the cubicle. And they have, this is run by Indigenous people, the Ojibwe or Ojibwe people. And they just have like music, like 60s music going around the clock. So anytime you go in there, music is playing. And I was in there, and one particular song that I knew from the past was on, and I was bummed out, I must admit. Said, why don't they just play something like George Harrison? And then they play George Harrison. Right, this one. The song goes, I forget the name of the title. I don't need a love in. I don't need a this man. I don't need a this and that. But chanting the names of the Lord and you'll be free. Da, 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 da. You want to get the lyrics? Okay. It's beautiful. And I was really in ecstasy. It was one of the best showers I had in my life. I was hearing George Harrison talking about chanting the names of the Lord and you'll be free. Let's see. Don't know the name of chanting. Maybe this one. It's a very happy song. Looking back at my youth, no, that's not it. I don't need a love in.
Yeah.
Where is it? I don't need, okay, maybe that would hurt. Can we try that one more time? Oh yes, that's it. You don't need no love in. You don't need no webcam. You don't need no horoscope or microscope.
You speak the next that you're in.
If you open up your heart, you will know what I mean.
We've been through so long,
now here's a way to get
clean. By
By chanting the names of the Lord, you'll be free.
The Lord is waiting on you all to wake and see.
Chanting the names of the Lord, you'll be free. The Lord is waiting on you all to awake and see. You don't need no passport, you don't need no visa, you don't need to designate or to commemorate. Before you can see Jesus, if you open up your heart, you'll see He's right there. Always was and will be. He'll relieve you of your cares. By chanting the names of the Lord, you'll be free. The Lord is waiting the Lord is waiting to awaken and see. Chanting the names of the Lord, and you'll be free. The Lord is waiting on you all to awaken and see. You don't need no church house.
You don't need
no
no
temple. You don't need no rosary beads or the books to read to see that you are fallen. If you open up your heart, you will know what I mean. We've been kept down so long. Someone's thinking that we're all greedy. And while the Pope owns 51% and the stock exchange is the only thing is qualified to quote us, the Lord is waiting on you to awaken and see. By chanting the names of the Lord, you'll be free. Okay.
Raj, does the Pope own 51% of the
I guess, I don't know, probably. The Catholic Church has a lot of money. Yeah, they've just shoved a lot of money for lawsuits, but they have a lot of money.
Should I play this?
Okay, but such a nice thing to do, the ultimate sacrifice, to sing a song about Krishna.
Should we hear the song?
What's that?
Should we hear the song?
Do you guys want to hear the song? At least a little bit of it. Ooh. I'll tell you a story. That album cover, I had it. It was made by my roommates. And the devotee spent the night in the apartment where I was staying up in Sudbury. He said, look, George has got tilak on his forehead. And then, yes, he does. Like somewhere or other, or some. It's hard to tell. But, okay. So, do you want to play it now? We can dance to it as well. Okay, just want to play. Okay.
He paused it.
You paused it. You don't need to love it. You don't need to live that. You don't need to hold your life. You don't need to listen to it. You open up your heart. You know what I mean? Because it is alone. And it's the way we need to get. Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments on what we talked about from chapter 3 Bhagavad Gita, as well as this verse from the Bhagavatam about Ramachandra? So tonight we'll probably just get into some more details about the birth of Rama, and I just want to make a comment. The reopening of the Yogi Temple is really a big deal in our culture. You know, it's really a big deal because invaders came in and just kind of just smashed it, obscured it, and took it away and put another kind of religious place there. And this one very powerful yogi in India worked very hard to regain this location, and people were denying, that's not where Ram was born, that's not the temple of Ram. And then when they started digging, they found out all the artifacts that clearly made it known that this is the Vedic temple. So my understanding, there's a Vishwa Parishad there, that's a Hindu organization. They've taken this sort of project up, and they're going across the globe, and they plan to come here at the temple and bring some people. I think it's a Canadian, I'm not sure. So we're going to try to accommodate them. So it's a glorious thing. And the next project is Krishna Janmabhoomi, where Krishna was born in Mathura. That's the next project they want to get back. And because the government is very favorable to Krishna consciousness, these things happen. I'm personally excited about it. Yes, so any comments or questions, please?
What's the one thing that we can take away from Lord Ram's conduct, his being, his personality, that we can meditate on for the day?
Well, there's a number of things. You know, he was such an obedient kid to his father at Dasara. He was loyal to Sita and Pharaoh up to a point, and then something happened. He was very committed to her, and she likewise committed to him. So loyalty, love, obedience. When he was supposed to be crowned king under the Pisha star, And Dasarath had announced to the citizens, I'm retiring now. I've been doing management for 60,000 years. It's time for me to take the torch and hand it over to the next gen, right? Succession planning. Most of the stories in the Bhagavatam are about succession planning. And so that Ramachandra was the oldest amongst the 4 boys that were fathered by Dasarath. And he was to be honored as the king of the world. The next morning, in fact, there's somebody grumbling about that. My name is Mantara. And that turned everything around. And so when news came to Ram from his father, he said, I have to ask you to leave. And Ram's mood was, you want me to jump off the cliff? I'll do that. You want me to jump into a fire? I'll do that too. Whatever you want. My perfection is following your order. So he had just a beautiful, sort of healthy attitude. And tonight we're putting a little skit that's an 8-minute long poem. It's going to be enacted by some of you. He's mainly Ravana, and he's pretty good. You wouldn't believe, but he's a pretty good Ravana. Could be real mean. and you are going to play the role of Lakshman and... Oh, you're not Lakshman, that's right.
Is Rakshasa and deer?
Rakshas,
Rakshas.
Hanuman.
You're Hanuman, yeah, you're multiple. You're everything.
Who will become monkey man?
What's that?
Who will become monkey man?
Well, he's going to do Hanuman. Yeah. Okay, so it'll be a lot of fun, and it's an abbreviated version of the Ramayana. By the way, I want to say that the pastimes of Ram in the Bhagavatam are abbreviated. It's not so long as we find in the Valmiki Ramayana. So there's a section in here which delineates some of the pastimes of Ram in brief. Okay, anything else? Sri Ramachandra ki
Jai.
Panchakalpadalubhyascha